Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. I'm Daria. Overall, if you go to see, it's mainly the weak global cues that are weighing heavy on the Indian markets in today's session. In terms of Nifty 50 as well, cuts of almost 180 points coming in there with somewhere around levels of 17,400. And major pressure coming in terms of Bank Nifty as well, where it's clearly underperforming the benchmark indices with cuts of little over 750 points. Clearly, if you see in terms of the Sensex as well, similar scenarios being witnessed. To discuss more in terms of what the derivative data is actually indicating from here on, joining us on the show today, we have Amit Bhuptani, derivative and technical research analyst at Nirmal Bank joining in. Amit, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Hiral.
Amit, the first question coming to you is clearly the kind of pressure that we're witnessing in markets today, led largely by selling in bank and financial services stock, right? Overall, the expectation was that there would be a cautious day of trade, there could be weakness that could persist. And if you see on the option front as well, it's almost 17,400 that is seeing both put and call accumulation. What's the sense that you pick up and what's the data indicating at this hour?
Yeah, so if you look at the overall derivative front on a data basis, on the yesterday session only, we are seeing that on the closing basis of the weekly expiry, there was a kind of a shifting of OI positions on the downward trend. Nifty was continuously holding the support of 17,500 basis, and below that, we are seeing that the OI positions on the put writer fronts were directly getting shifted at 17,300 and 17,000 strike. Now, in today's session and after yesterday's closing session, we have seen that the call rate portions got it added up sharply at 17,600 and 700 strike, almost 15 million positions. Against that, we are seeing that the put rate portions got liquidated. So now Nifty is currently into the range bound zone. 17,300 would be the support zone, and on the upper end, 17,450 would be the resistance zone. Once if Nifty breaks 17,450 level, then only we might witness some short covering rally in the market. But once if Nifty goes below 17,300 level, then directly the next support for the market would be at 17,000 level because the OI portions are continuously getting shifted on the downward towards 17,000 strike. Now, if we look at the India VIX, also India VIX today is trading around 13.44. Once if India VIX goes above 14.50 level, then again the volatility will increase in the market and the cautious momentum will get increased once if India VIX goes above 14.5 levels. So current scenario is bit cautious. You should create long positions only if Nifty goes above 17,450 levels.
Right, so that's with regards to Nifty. Now, coming to Bank Nifty as well, clearly the bears are even more dominant, in terms of Bank Nifty because the index, if you see, a downtick of almost 1.5, 2 percentage points coming in there. Now, can you assume that probably there could be stabilization at levels of around 4,500 to 4,600, or are we expecting to see further downward pressure because we're already at 4,480 now?
Currently, Bank Nifty is at the major support of 40,300 level. Once if Bank Nifty breaks 43,300 level, then directly we might see 500 to 600 points on the downward end. Because if we consider the technical data, also the retracement on the Fibonacci front is directly coming at 39,900 level. Once if 40,300 levels gets broken down. On the upper end, we are seeing that 40,750 is a resistance zone. Once if Bank Nifty gets a clearance of 40,750 level, then the pressure which we are seeing from last 2 to 3 days from that level we might get stabilization once if Bank Nifty goes 4750 level on the spot front. So we should wait. Clearly, if we look at the overall both the index, it is at like a no trade zone. Both the index need to get stabilized and 4750 and 4300 level. This is the range for the Bank Nifty. If it gets breakout or breakdown of this level, then only we might create new shorts or long position.
Right. Moving on, if you see in terms of stock specific action, you have a Tata Motors, which is the top gainer in today's session. In fact, we were seeing long build up coming in on that counter as well. What's the sense that you pick up on a Tata Motors and what would you advise a trader to do?
First of all, if we look at the overall EV theme, we are seeing that from last 2 days, the buying has been witnessed from completely auto counters like JBM Auto, Electra, and Tata Motors also. So we are seeing that the base has been created in the Tata Motor. If we look at the Tata Motor on the midterm view also, we are seeing that from last 8 to 10 months, the counter is continuously trading in the range of 70 points, and we are seeing that the volume is getting accumulated in this counter. So on my view, I consider Tata Motor to create a long position with the support of 420. If it goes on the closing basis below 420 level, then only we might see some sell off in this counter. Or else once this counter goes above 445 level, then we might witness fresh buying to get generated in this counter, and momentum will come towards the 470, 480 levels.
Right. That's with regards to Tata Motors. Moving on, another stock that was seeing long build up was a Godrej Properties as well. What is data indicating?
If we consider the Godrej property is continuously facing the resistance of 50 DMA towards 1180 level. Once if counter goes above 1180 level, then only we might create long position. If we look at the overall structure, also chart is trading at the monthly support level. So if we look at the overall risk reward, also the risk is very less at this point of time. But the fresh confirmation buying will get only above 1180. So once if counter goes above 1180 and gets stabilized above that level, then we should definitely create a long positions about that 1250 levels might be witnessed.
Right. Moving on, a few other counters from the banking space. If you see HDFC Twins, do you see further weakness coming in on both these names?
Yes, HDFC Bank, I consider the short might get witness in the counter, because if we look at the overall roll-up position also for the March series which took place from the Fab front, we are seeing that the HDFC Bank has seen some major OI building getting up. So we might see some sell-off is likely to be witnessed, because the stock is breaking the major weekly supports also. Once if stock goes below 1570 level, then there might be almost around 5 to 7% fall another in this counter towards the 1520 to 1510 level. So counter is ready for the next sell off once if it goes below 1570 levels.
Right. Moving on, what are charts indicating, Amit, in terms of a Reliance Industries? Because last couple of trading sessions, we are seeing weakness that's coming in. The stock is pretty range bound, and if you see, there was a lot of built up seen at 2100 and 2000 strike in terms of Reliance. What's the view?
If you look at the overall sentiment for this chart, also the stock is trading at the long-term support on the weekly and monthly basis of 20 to 90. Currently, there is no indication on the chart front to go for a long position. Once if it goes about 2360 level, which is a gap resistance, then only it might get some confirmation for the long to get initiated. But as per the overall situation, and from last 2 to 3 days also, we are witnessing some sort of selling pressure is getting witnessed in the market on the Reliance from 50 DMA front. 50 DMA for this counter is coming around 2400 level, and from that level only we are considering some sell off in this counter. So once if stock goes below 2290 level, then second round of selling will be witnessed in the market in this stock, and we might see below that level directly. The next support for this counter would be 20 on 75 level. So you should not create a long position at this point of time. If anyone holding long position, then should place a stop loss at 20 to 90 level.
Right. Moving on, any stocks that catch your eyes in terms of the banking space?
On the banking front, as I said, that the role of basis on the banking side was at the negative front, because there was a heavy role of positions got added up on the banking front. But if we need to create some short position, then that might be HDFC Bank. We have recommended our clients also on this counter for the monthly basis also, and we expect some sell off in this counter, because in March series we're expecting some banking counter to show some more negative strength morely from the private front. So HDFC Bank, we might create a short position for the target of 1530 to 1520 levels.
Right. Moving on, in terms of Vedanta as well, there is absolutely very strong open interest addition in today's session. The stock is under pressure as well. So clearly, we are seeing some bit of short positions that are being built on this counter. What would your strategy be?
Shorts are definitely getting traded in this counter, but we are seeing that the sell-off is continuously coming in this counter from 340 levels. Now the stock is having support at 260 levels. So if we
Mm.
look at the overall on the short-term to mid-term view also, 260 is a major support for this counter because on the monthly chart also, if we consider the trend line support, it is coming at 260. If it gets broken that level, then only we might see some 40-50 points at downside, which is coming at 230 to 220 level, and 220 level will act as an important support zone for the counter from where we might see a strong pullback towards the 300 to 350 levels. So anyone holding long position should place a support stop loss at 260 level. And if we need to create any long positions, it not be created above 285 level. Once if counter goes about 285 level, then the pressure which we are seeing from last 2 to 3 days will get stopped and the stabilization will get in this counter about 285 levels.
Right. Moving on, another stock which is interesting to watch out for is the REC. It recently hit a 52-week high of 128 already. And now, if you go to see in terms of the performance today, we are seeing pressure. And overall, there is, if you on the open interest front as well, there is some bit of addition coming in there. How would you advise to play a REC?
If you look at the market scenario, it is quite volatile and quite a sell-off from the upper zone. But if we watch to some selective counters like REC, PFC, these counters are showing some positive strength because the monthly chart and the monthly setup of this counter is quite positive because the volume is continuously getting added up. Only the concern for this chart on the upper end is 125 level, which is creating a resistance for this counter. Once if it gets the clearance of 125 level, then fresh longs will get generated and the momentum will get more strong towards 135 to 140 level. So we should hold the counter with a support of 117. If it goes below 117 level, then only I expect some sell off in this counter. But overall structure looks positive. You should create new long position with the support of 117.
Right. Moving on, how are you seeing the M&M Financial? The stock is down around 3%, almost a 43% to Y addition is what we're seeing. What would you indicate?
Overall, in today's gap down opening, the major sell-off is being witnessed from the banking and the financial front. So
Hmm.
we expect the banking and financial both the sector to be avoided for coming 2 to 3 days till the market is not getting stabilized. Once if market gets stabilized, then only we expect both this counter and both this sector need to be created for the long position. Because if we look at the overall Fin Nifty also, Fin Nifty has shown some major sell-off from the average resistance only, and currently Fin Nifty is also trading at 200 DMA. Once if Fin Nifty goes below 17,900 level, then complete financial sector will also see some sell off in the market. So M&M Finance at this point of time, I will consider to wait for the downside towards the 230 to 225 level. Once if it comes near 225 level, then we should create new long positions.
Right. Another stock I want to discuss with you is with regards to a GAIL. There was some positive momentum over the last couple of trading sessions in terms of GAIL. Today as well, the stock is up in trade. What is the data indicating and what the strategy should be?
Data is positive, but to create new long position at this point of time is not favorable because of the risk reward which we are seeing right now is quite not worthy to buy for the fresh new long position. But whomsoever is holding a long position should place the stop loss at 107. 107 would be the trailing SL. Once if counter goes above 114 level on the closing basis, then we might see some buying to get extended towards 120, 125 level because volume is continuously getting added up. If we need to create new long position, then we should wait for the downside towards 107 to 105 level. If it comes near that level, then only new long positions to be created.
You're right. Overall, Amit, I see it's constantly hitting life highs as well now. Are we seeing further resistance from here on, or do you think this is still a good opportunity to buy?
It is a opportunity to buy because we are seeing that the counter is continuously getting consolidated from last 5 to 6 weeks. The counter is in the range of 370 to 390 levels, and we are seeing that from the FMCG front, the ITC is showing some more positive strength. And if we consider the all weekly, daily, monthly, all charts are showing some positive setup. But currently, the stock is having resistance at 394 level. Once if it gets clearance of 394 level, then we might see some the consolidation to get broken and the buying will get started in this counter towards the 410 to 415 levels.
Right. So that's with regards to ITC. Amit, apart from the stocks that we've discussed, anything that comes to your radar from a Monday perspective?
On the cash front, there is a radar. There's a stock coming in my front is JBM Auto. JBM Auto has shown some major breakout because if you look at the overall structure in this counter, the counter is giving the breakout on the weekly chart. The symmetrical breakout is coming out. If we look at the structure also, it's like a long-term breakout so being witnessed around 550 levels. And if we consider the Fibonacci extension also, the counter shows a strength towards 680 to 700 level. We have recommended to our clients also and to many other media channels also. So we expect this counter to show some positive strength. If we get deep towards 620, 610 level also, it would be a great buy for a short term to mid term view.
Right. So these are few stocks that we should be watching out for as well from Monday's session. Thank you, Amit, so much for joining us on the show and sharing those views and what we should be watching out for in terms of Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. But clearly, it's the global cues that are impacting our markets in today's session as well. And clearly, overall, if you go to see a 1.1% decline is what we're seeing in terms of Sensex. Around 59,175 is what we are watching out for. In terms of Nifty 50 as well, 17,400, a little above that 17,400 mark is what we are closing at with cuts of around 110, nearly 1%. Bank Nifty is clearly underperformed, and it's the financials also which are putting pressure. So 770 points cut coming in terms of Bank Nifty and below the 40,500 mark. Overall, if you see in terms of the advanced decline as well, clearly it has been in favor of the bears, I beg your pardon. However, we've managed to recover marginally from the day's lowest levels. 17 to 24 was today's low that we hit in intraday trade. And from there on, we have seen almost a 70 to 80 points recovery that has come in on a closing basis. Tata Motors was standing pretty strong, and you have Tata Tech that will be coming up with an IPO as well. NTPC continues to see a good run over the last couple of trading sessions. Maruti, Britannia, as well as Power Grid, these were few of the gainers, whereas a lot of pressure coming in from the banking names like an IndusInd Bank, HDFC Twins, Adani Enterprises was down in trade, Apollo Hospitals was also trading under pressure. Some interesting moves coming in terms of mid and small cap moves as well. If you see on the gaining front, Clarks, 8.5% up move coming in on that counter, whereas if you see the other mid cap IT counters were all trading under pressure. Sequence Scientific is seeing a good run over the last 2 to 3 sessions. MRPL, 5 consecutive session of gains. I think the stock is up almost 15 to 16% in the last 5 trading sessions today. A 7.5% up move coming in on that counter. Equita Small Finance Bank as well. It already, I think, opened gap down and it's ending with cuts of around 6.5%. Kiri Industries, Sonata Software, these are a few of the other counters which have been trading under pressure. But overall, a weak day of trade. In fact, second consecutive session where we are seeing major weakness that is coming in. What's in store in terms of Monday is going to be interesting to watch out for post US markets open today and what US markets look like in today's session, because we will have a counter effect that could be coming in on Monday as well. So again, an interesting day of trade that we will be looking forward to. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.